Hey guys, it's Meg, back for a long-awaited face-up video for Deacon. This has been a year and a half in the making, I suppose, because I didn't want to finish his face-up if I was not going to have him on a body. He has a body now. If you follow me on Instagram, you know what that is, or if you've watched my previous videos. Anyway, this is pretty simple. I went a little different with him than the previous face-up. I might redo Cade's, although I'm pretty happy with Cade's face-up. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, so I'll pop back in when there's something more interesting. Hopefully my camera is nice to me this time. So for me, boy face-ups are a little different, or a lot different. I don't have to do as much detail work or layers on him because he doesn't wear makeup, although he does get a tiny bit at the end. He does get gloss, but not as much. So I generally don't blush my doll's bodies, but because I was already going to be working on his chest piece for reasons you will see, I decided I would blush his shoulders and his chest just a little bit. I do end up blushing his hands and his arms, but I'm kind of a little haphazard with it. This ended up turning out really nicely, and it works with his face up, and I do have plans for a nice, I guess you'd say, top for his outfit that will show some of this. So, now when I'm blushing his hands, originally I was just going to leave them like this, and then I noticed that he had the faintest of veining on his hands and his arms. I'm not very good at detailing those, but I did add a small bit of blue mixed with a faint bit of red to like highlight those on his hands and his arms. I don't even know if you can see them in the end, but I did it and it's there for me, I guess. So now, one of the parts that I enjoy is the eyebrows. They're very rarely, for me, siblings. They're more like distant cousins, but my eyebrows personally aren't always like siblings, so I guess it works. But eyebrows just kind of bring the doll to life for me. It obviously they frame the face and they're important parts, but they're one of my favorites because if you can get them done right, they can make or break a face up, really. And here you'll see in a second, I have plans for Mr. Deacon's eyebrows. So once I get them to this wonderful shape, I erase part of them. And that's because it's part of his character, and I will be doing scarring on his face and his chest and one of his arms. I actually learned the scarring technique, which I will explain here shortly, from March to the Mad Hair here on YouTube and on Instagram. I don't know if they're still on YouTube or Instagram. I know they changed their name. I'm not really sure what it is, though. Sorry. So basically what I start doing is with a darker flesh tone, I start laying out the placement of the scarring that I want. And since Deacon's job is a little dangerous, he has quite a few of these scars. So, yeah, I'm just working out the placement. I'm actually pretty happy with how all of these turned out in the end. They came out a little bit better than I was expecting them to. I've only done scarring a couple times in the past, and I ended up removing it because it just wasn't very good. I may have to go in and redo Cade's face up just to give him some scars in some places, but yeah. Now his arm here, I thought I was working with the left arm and this was going to be on the inside. Turns out this is the right arm and it's more on the underside. So basically it kind of looks like he threw his arm up in a fight, a couple fights, and, you know, got scratched or cut. So, not what I intended, but it works. I guess not every scar has to be visible. And for his chest, these were kind of annoying because the convex and concave features on his chest piece are a little hard to work with. So one of them looks a little thicker than the other, but, you know, I guess it adds to its authenticity of scars, because, I mean, you know, you never know how the skin is going to tear and react when it comes to being cut and scratched and, you know, beat up. Now you'll notice that he has 4 of these long scratches on his face and his neck. You may be wondering what creature attacked him. Well, eventually you'll find out, but it's not going to be in this video. So with all face-ups, you are building layers. What you're doing is you're laying down your pastel on top of a layer of sealant, and then when you're satisfied with that, you take it and you spray it, and you add another layer of sealant. So you are essentially sandwiching your work between the layers of sealant, and this preserves it. Or if you're me, you chip it, which I did with Phaedra's hands. Rip them. But yeah, so I build up color in places that I want it on his lips, some on his eyebrows, and then I do detailing on his eyebrows with a pencil, because I want his eyebrows to look rough and kind of like gritty. He's a dude, he doesn't really take care of his eyebrows. You know, he's not like manscaping, I guess the word is. Now, previous Deacon did have facial hair, and I thought about giving him that, but I kind of, with what I wanted to do with his scars, I didn't want that getting in the way, and since I didn't like how I would end up making it look, just because I'm not like the best at facial hair, and I'm not going to glue hair to his face, I decided against it. But his face up in the end turned out really well, so I don't know, you let me know. here's the part where I start doing his lashes. One side turns out beautifully, even, light, just like I want, and the other side looks like he applied falsies to his lower lid. I tried to fix this, it didn't really work, so I don't know if I'm aggravated enough to redo them or not, but for now, this is just what he looks like, and I guess I'll live with it. And now it's on to his scarring. So, what I do, and what March the Mad Hare showed to do, is take a bit of Mod Podge and mix some pastel in. Then I'm going to go over each scar that I have drawn on with the Mod Podge mixture and kind of like dab it so that it isn't a straight, like, painted on line. It's just, you're dabbing it on and it's creating lifted texture. Now, I kind of only do, I think I only did like 2 or 3 layers of this. I didn't go over it super thick. I wanted them to kind of be old and like not as raised and not as much scar tissue as maybe others might like. So his aren't as raised, his aren't as thick, but you can actually do this as many times over the top of the scars as you want. And it does kind of give it that that look. Now, they do end up shining, but if you apply a little bit of maybe a matte sealant over it, or maybe like like matte varnish over the area, it should cut back on the shininess, unless you want them to be shiny. And then I am just going back in with some watered down brown to try and enhance the lower lashes a little bit. This kind of works, but kind of doesn't, because I still want them to be wispy, but I want them to stand out and be a little less subdued, because when I do them in pencil and then I spray MSC, it kind of dulls the pencil a little bit. It doesn't seem to do that with acrylic paint as much. So I'm just, going back in and trying to fix them. once I'm happy with him, I will gloss his lips and his waterline. You'll see that I did kind of leave some of them a little shiny, his scars, because I do want them to have a little bit of that shininess. I have a couple scars on my legs and my hand, and they are a little shiny, a little different from the normal skin, so yeah. And yeah, that's how he turned out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. The next one I do for him is gonna be his wig. Bye, guys.